Hello class, how are things today? We are continuing to talk about 10A types of graphs. All right, so let's see what we have here. The first graph is y equals x. So this one, as you are well aware, is a line. Okay, we only need 2 points to determine a line. So if you graph more than 2 points, that may be good, like it checks your work. You verify that they all three line up, because if one's wonky, that means you made a mistake somewhere. But technically, you only need 2 points to determine a line. Parabolas, as we recently talked about, are U-shaped. So for your parabola, you need the vertex as 1 point. Now, since it's U-shaped, you need to get a feel for how the curve goes, if it's like steep or flatter, wider or narrower. So 2 points on either side is considered an absolute minimum for the number of points. So that's 5 points total. 5 points total is your minimum number of points. This one, 2 points is your minimum number of points. Okay, let's see. For your absolute value, if you recall a little bit ago, we talked about that one being V-shaped. And that one, you would need the vertex. And since it's straight, you only need 1 point on either side for 3 points at an absolute minimum. You might end up with more, and that's acceptable, but this would be the minimum number of points. Okay, your square root graph. This one, we don't have a lot of room along the side. Your square root graph is half of a sideways parabola. So you need the starting point, and then a half a parabola. You would need 2 more points to determine the curve. So that's the start of your parabola, and you need 3 points at an absolute minimum. The cubic is a swishy thing that looks something like this. Here, you need the middle, kind of like a vertex idea, and then you need 2 points on either side. So this is like the middle, the start, it's kind of like the vertex, and you need 5 points at an absolute minimum. Now, occasionally, I'll give you a little bit of leeway on these points if, depending on the cubic, they get off the screen rather quickly. So give those a shot when you can, knowing that occasionally you'll have a little leeway. Oh, sine and cosine curves. We'll have to talk about those also. Okay, class. Here is a quick review of the sine and cosine graphs. Okay, the sine graph, the sine of 0 is 0. The sine of pi over 2 is 1. So the sine graph starts at its middle and goes up. So it goes middle, top, middle, bottom, middle. And on the left side, it goes bottom, middle, top, middle. Okay, so here's the sine curve. Notice that the sine curve is smooth. It's a smooth curve, remember? Kind of like some of you guys. All right. Now, 2 sine of x minus 1, let's see, minus 1 would be the graph's middle. And 2 is the height. So it's up 2 and down 2. So there's the graph's middle, top, and bottom. So now this one, the sine graph would start at its middle. Now it goes middle, top, middle, etc. So there's this smooth curve. Okay, and then it keeps going both directions. You can continue that one. Now remember, the cosine graph starts at its top. It goes top, middle, bottom, middle, top. There's that smooth curve. Okay, and then it keeps going in this direction. And then the negative cosine, so you're supposed to continue this one. The negative cosine of x plus 1. Plus 1 is the graph's new middle. The top and bottom are just up 1 and down 1. Okay. Now, so 1 is the amplitude. This is the graph's middle. This is the graph's amplitude, or height from the middle. So this one, since it's negative, cosine usually starts at its top and goes down. This one's going to start at its bottom, go bottom, middle, top, middle, etc. So you can continue that path. Okay, so I hope that was a good brush up of sine and cosine.